Hi, welcome to the Mr. Beacon podcast. My name is Steve Statler. I'm here with my colleague Mandy Phillips from Statler Consulting, and we're talking to Contact.io today, Philip and Philip. We are hanging out in Phoenix. There's a great conference here, RFID Journal Live. We had an awesome day yesterday, 5 sessions on Bluetooth beacons, packed audience, and so now we're chatting to some of the folks here, and Contact.io are probably don't need any introduction, but they have been one of the main forces in the market in terms of shipping beacons, and so I'm really pleased to be able to talk to you guys. Thanks for carving time out.
Yes.
So maybe we should start off and you can just introduce yourselves and what you do.
Yeah. Philip, why don't you start?
Yeah, so I'm the head of sales globally. I'm based out of Mexico and the US. And yeah, I've been in contact for over 3 years right now.
And
the other Philip, so I've been in contact for over 2 years. My job title is VP of Market Operations. I run sales, marketing, customer success, and new product development from a market point of view, and try to sort of align all the different teams from a functional but also from a geographic point of view. We're headquartered in Krakow and have a large commercial office in Berlin and in Mexico and New York.
And how many people are in the company now?
Roughly 70, with a 50-50 split on engineering and marketing.
So you have 70 people,
yeah.
And I'm assuming most of them are in Krakow, are they?
Yeah, so I think roughly 50-55 are based in Krakow. Reason for that is also, I mean, there we have product, we have the engineering team, we have all the administrative functions, but also production, as we sort of assemble and manufacture our own beacons. So we have quite a large team involved in logistics and shipping, quality control, in all those different parts, which if you don't have your own beacons, you would be outsourcing and doing somewhere else.
That's interesting, because these days a lot of companies seem to outsource as much of that as possible, and I guess you have the option. You're in Poland, so you have smart people who are not as expensive as the folks here, but why have you decided to do more in-house than maybe others?
So I think our goal here is to have the most robust and most advanced hardware in the market, as we believe it all starts at the hardware, and everything which comes later is sort of building on top of the hardware. Mm-hmm. So by having the number one product in the market from a hardware point of view, we believe this is a strategic advantage to do a lot of other things later down the road, coming from software, from service, and so forth. But it always starts with the hardware.
And that's, I think, a given. Anyone would want to put that out there. But one of the things that struck me is that you seem to have focused on supporting the deployment phase. So in terms of customization, making it easy for people to take the product and doing stuff to assist in deployments that are multi-site deployments. Can you talk about what you do? If I'm a big retailer, I have a lot of locations. What can you do to help me?
So I mean, first of all, our goal is to basically make the hardware invisible for you as the end customer. And how we would typically do this is sort of sit down with you and try to understand your workflows and your integration. And if you deployed beacons before, then there must have been probably like a procedure, and then we're trying to sort of break this down and understand it. If not, then we would sort of try to come up with a plan to get those beacons out there for you. And I think here you really have to differentiate. If you are doing your first proof of concept, or even your first, let's say, 1,000 units, this is not something you will be thinking about. Then you think about, the price, you think about, is the signal working, is my app working, all of that. But once you really go into this rollout and we speak about, 5, maybe even 6-digit beacon volume, then this whole operational part has to be very, very well defined. And what we do here is basically from, custom casings to drop shipping to labeling the devices so that it matches your your internal structures. And then in case you need it, we also send you folks over who can help you deploy. So I think we've done 3 major deployments this year, correct me if I'm wrong, in Dubai, in Orlando,
Germany,
Germany. So yeah, we have a team sort of coming also out of Krakow and from Mexico, just able to deploy all around the globe. And then we offer 24/7 support, 365 days, so you can call us and within an hour you should have a very qualified answer, which becomes very important because 1% of your infrastructure breaks, then your software is not running anymore, and then we enter sort of the dark side.
So this is a big contrast to kind of going for a bargain basement Chinese manufacturer who's not going to do that stuff. How big are these larger deployments that you're supporting? What's a big deployment in the ecosystem these days?
What do we consider big?
I mean, we have customers ordering 10,000 beacons every month for same deployment, and this contracts for around 240,000 beacons, something like that.
Yeah, but I would say everything like 5K to 10K, starting at sort of those thresholds, then we speak about it.
All right. So people that say the beacon ecosystem is dead, that may be a little premature.
I think it's not as hype anymore, but overall that's something good because it means it's getting more serious.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that it's dying, but who wants to read nowadays, you know, the latest trends on push notification marketing? I mean, I think that's not needed right now.
So tell us a bit about what your product focus is these days.
So Contact.io's vision is to basically digitalize the physical world. So every product which helps us to get a bit closer there is a product we would potentially be doing. We currently measure sort of this impact by the volumes of beacons we can ship out. And here we have basically two lines of business. One is that's called them stationary beacons, where you have those traditional use cases, you know, you put a beacon on the wall, and then you have an infrastructure, and then this enables customer engagement, sort of use cases. And the other thing, and that's sort of something new, where we are currently putting a lot of focus and efforts in, is, we call it, let's say, moving beacons, or tags, which is not the traditional iBeacon or a proximity sort of use cases, but here we are entering more in the industrial IoT, in asset tracking, in people monitoring, and a whole bunch of different applications where we see, coming from Bluetooth point of view, that the technology is has a whole bunch of sort of advantages over other technologies in this space, such as RFID or Zigbee or UWB. Summing up, this is something where we are currently focusing a lot on, and there will be, I think, 2 or 3 new beacons getting launched this year, particularly sort of tailored for that niche.
So you have new gateway products. You're one of the first companies that ship beacons and a gateway, and you have a new version of that. And you also have a cloud service that can tell us a little bit about how the functionality from your location service that you're offering and what the model is around that. So
if you start again from sort of those 2 domains, now coming from the tag or from the beacon level, everything sort of follows after. So what we have for supporting both use cases with different software products is gateway. So on the stationary side, it's more used for beacon management, you know, managing your infrastructure remotely, sort of shutting it down and so forth. And on the other side, where we speak about moving devices, this gateway is more of an location-based access point, which is able to understand whether devices are sort of entering a zone, leaving the zone, how long they're staying there, and so forth. And for both sides, we are developing the software which enables you to use this data, integrated in your work streams, integrated in your existing solution, or integrated into you know, your ERP systems and so forth. And yeah, that's basically pretty much it.
Philip, what are the verticals that you're seeing that are most interested in that asset tracking, real-time location system usage model?
I'd say the biggest is healthcare. We're getting a lot of interest from solution integrators that are working with hospitals, private clinics, you know, big use cases. So looks like there's also a lot of money in the real problems. So this is the exciting thing, that we're moving from like a nice to have retail coupons to solving problems for people, whether because they want to save money or make more money. Definitely manufacturing, so any kind of automation or optimization of operations in factories. Oil and gas, we get a lot of interest, tracking people, and also huge industry that is kind of invisible, and there's a few small niche players that are doing great solutions, is the maintenance service workers, where they go and they have to be in a specific place in a specific hour and check out. So all the control and compliance of this is also very interesting, and this adds all the whole compliance industry where everything's kind of paper based or there is solutions, but there is definitely a space to be disrupted, and there's already a few companies doing a good job.
Very cool. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Anything else we should have covered? I've got one last question to ask you. But any other business stuff that we should talk about?
No, I mean, we are excited to head over to RFID World today, and afterwards we can do another interview.
Indeed. Yeah, it's actually great to see. There's a lot of serious companies that have adopted RFID for engineering and maintenance and all sorts of very hard ROI type applications, and now they're looking at Bluetooth, and I don't think they're abandoning RFID, but they're seeing where it's complementary, and that's exciting.
I would probably like to add something. The next 2 weeks, Philip and me were touring around the US, so we'll be in different cities. You can check our social media, and you can book a breakfast with us.
Yeah, it's been a great breakfast. I've tried it. The breakfast is good, and the conversation is even better. So it wouldn't be a Mr. Beacon podcast if I didn't ask you about music and what the song you would take. I'm just going to give you one song. So what one song would you take to Mars if you could only take one song? Do you want to go?
I would take Rick Ross, the Hustling.
Rick Ross, Hustling? Oh, okay. I may ask you to sing that later, because I don't know it. But.
And for me would be Rolling Stones, Can't Ever Get What You Want.
All right, very good. Well, what about you, Mandy? What would you take?
Yeah, now you've put me on the spot. I think it probably would be Tony Bennett, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, actually.
All right.
Because it was the first song that my dad taught me to sing, so...
Cool.
That one I don't know. But
it's very old.
Like us. Very good. Thanks very much for watching us, and check out more. Subscribe to us. You can do that on YouTube, on Facebook, but best of all on our website, because that way you catch all the stuff that we put out, whether it's written or if it's in 360 video. Thanks for watching.